new Pilates instructor trying to figure out how you're going to get paid, or perhaps you've been in the Pilates industry for a while and you want to venture out on your own and you're not quite sure how to set your pay structure. Are you looking to go and find a job in a Pilates studio or maybe a gym where you are a Pilates teacher on a subcontractor basis and you're not quite sure what rates to be asking for? Well, in this week's video, we're going to be delving into how a Pilates teacher should get paid and what would be the most profitable way for you to start earning your income and running a business or even being an employee as a teacher. If we haven't met before, my name is Anita Horry. I am a second-generation Pilates master teacher and also a Pilates business coach for those of you who want to make Pilates as your main career and to want to have an amazingly profitable business. So this video is going to be totally essential for those of you who want to make Pilates as their career. So that's going to be crucial for you to understand what are the differences and what are the implications of getting paid in one form against the other, and then what could be the most beneficial solution for you. Before I even go ahead and start discussing what different rates of pay are like and what the benefits and disadvantages of them are, I just want to make it a very, very clear note that this is really going to be dependent on where you're living, what sort of salaries are in the area that you're living in, and also what your qualifications are as a teacher, because as you know, a new teacher is not going to have the same experience as somebody who has been teaching in the industry for a while and obviously have gained their title and they've gained their level of income that they're currently on. And the reason for me creating this video is for you to get an idea of what could be possible. And if you want to learn a lot more about your personal situation and how to make your personal situation work for you, then reach out to me. I'm available on a free discovery call. I'm very happy to discuss your situation with you. And then we can take it forward to see whether there's any way that you can improve your setting, your current setting, or whether you could work with someone that will help you improve your business and improve the way that you're running your Pilates sessions. So without further ado, let's go straight into the first situation. So let's imagine our first scenario being you are employed and you're going to be employed in a gym situation or in a Pilates studio, or you could also be looking at this from a self-employed perspective. And of course, in this situation, you're going to be paid by the hour. So you could be getting paid by the hour from your employer, or you're getting paid by the hour from your clients. So what are the advantages of actually getting this? So this is the most common way that Pilates teachers get paid. They get paid by the hour, they get paid for the time that they're putting into the teaching, and that's it. In this way, you have a clear understanding of what your income is going to be. So there's no commitments from you to the gym, so you're getting paid as a subcontractor. And there's also no commitment from you to your clients or vice versa. You're just getting paid for the time that you're actually teaching. If you're looking at what benefits you're going to be gaining by getting paid by the hour, you'd have to first consider the amount of flexibility you're going to be gaining, because you know that you could decide as and when you're going to be getting paid. So you know that if you're wanting to work in the mornings, it's going to give you that flexibility that you're only going to get paid for the time that you're working. And the other good thing about it is that there's quite an element of predictability about it. So you know, on that particular week, you're going to be working X amount of hours per week, and you multiply the amount of hours you're working by your hourly rate. Now, what should be the hourly rate? Your question is going to be. This is all very, very dependent on where you live and your qualifications. So I'm not actually saying that you should look at competitors and trying to figure out how much they're charging so you could match their prices or maybe go a little bit under or over. You know, really look at your own personal needs. Look at how much do you need to live on every week, and figure out how many hours do you need to work in order for you to work out a particular hourly rate for your area. Then once you've worked your hourly rate, you can then compare yourself to other suppliers in the area, other providers, and see whether you're way off the mark, whether you're way lower, or whether you're along the same lines. that in working out your hourly rate, you should consider all your costs, okay? So you don't want to be just looking out at whatever else somebody else is charging and then going out there in the market without actually understanding what your costs are, because everybody else doesn't have your life, doesn't have your commitments. So make that very, very clear. You need to work out your costs before you come up with your hourly rate. So that is predictable, it's flexible, that's a great advantage to it. What could be the disadvantages to this? Well, of course, a huge limit to this is that your earnings are capped. They're only kept by the amount of hours that you're working. So if you have a bad week where you're not working, or if you're not feeling well and you're reducing your hours, then you're not going to be earning. So this is a huge disadvantage, regardless of where you're working. If you're working at a gym, or whether if you're self-employed and teaching in different studios or in different locations, this is a huge disadvantage. So you're only capped to the amount of hours and your hourly rate, and there is really not much room for growth. Now, the next point is really more relevant to those of you who are working in studios or in big gyms, and they are working as subcontractors and independent subcontractors, where you are charging and invoicing and you're getting paid by the gym. If you are not on their staff system, then you're not getting all the staff benefits. You're not getting any sickness, you're not getting any other additional staff benefits, any holidays, and it's a very limited, there's limited scope on your progress. So it's a very tricky situation to be in if you want to grow a business or you want to do better for yourself. If you're a person that perhaps is happy just to continue teaching and getting a specific amount of hours into your schedule, and maybe you don't want to grow because you've got other commitments and you just want to make it tick and you want to keep that experience going so that you don't lose your teaching practice, this might be a suitable position for you. This might be a suitable way of you charging by the hour, but there's no real advantage of you getting paid by the hour. Your earnings are going to be totally limited, and if you want to build a business, this is not the right way to go. Now, if you're working for a gym and they're going to guarantee you the amount of hours every week, and say, for example, they'll give you the 30 hours a week and you're getting paid $35 an hour for your work, then you can guarantee yourself that you're going to be earning approximately $50,000 a year. So for that commitment of time, that's going to be your salary per year. If you're independent and you are working in multiple gyms, or maybe you have your own clients, then you can maybe control that, because then you have to advertise yourself. Then obviously there's that business that you're evolving, and there's going to be costs involved. When you're working at a gym, you don't have to be worried about all this. So this is a lifestyle choice that you have to make, a lifestyle decision you have to make. Do I want to worry about having to attract clients? Do I want to worry about building myself a business? Or am I just happy to go out there and teach in a gym that's able to provide me with the clients, and I'll earn that monthly pay or hourly pay, and it's going to give me that comfortable lifestyle? So have a look at your situation and see whether this situation is going to work for you. Now, the next scenario could be that you are on a salary. If you are working at a gym or a Pilates studio, you could be given a base salary and they'll be paying you commission. Now, the most popular way of teachers being paid on this particular basis is that they'll get a base salary for working X amount of hours per week. So say, for example, you get a base salary for working 30 hours a week. But then you'll get a commission on every extra person that comes into your group classes, or you'll get a commission for every new person that you introduce to the company. You'll get commissions on sales of gear or sales of programs, etc., etc. And many well-known Pilates studios and big gyms offer this particular scenario. Now, this works well for people who have quite a following, for teachers who have quite a following, who are a little bit more experienced, and they are then considered to be a little bit more master teachers, because what they're doing is they'll get that base salary and they'll earn a ton more money on the commissions that they'll earn. And what's going to happen here is that maybe you'll also have a team of other people working for you, and then you'll also be able to earn commissions on what those people are selling. This is a very common formula for many big Pilates studios and gyms. In saying that, if you are on a base salary, you are also given an incentive to sell. So if you're not that kind of person that doesn't like to sell or doesn't feel that's their job, or they feel uncomfortable or not confident enough to be able to push other services or workshops or whatever other things that Pilates studio or the gym is actually offering to the clients, then perhaps this isn't really the right choice for you. But on the flip side, it offers you a stable income. So if you are a mother with small children and you want to have a stable income because you want to know that every month you're going to earn a fixed salary, and then you're also getting that commission basis where you could increase that income status. So this could be a really good position for you, because then you know that you've got this income coming in, you know how many hours of work you're doing every week, and it's giving you that regularity in your system and in your personal life. So that might work very, very well for you. And the other great thing about this is that because it's commission based and it's giving you the incentives, the world is your oyster. If you wanted to push and you really wanted to increase your salary, there are so many other ways of you doing it. And this all depends on who you're working with and who you're working for. And of course, the other thing is how many other teachers are out there and doing the same thing as you. So all this has to be considered, because obviously what you don't want to be doing is fighting for the same sale. So this is stuff you need to consider when you are working in the larger gyms. And then, of course, the biggest benefit of them all is that if you are classed as an employee, you are given standard employee benefits. You've got your vacation time, you've got health benefits, you've got if you're in the US, you've got the 401k. And you have all the tax benefits that a standard employee would get. So it's giving you a little bit more stability, guys. Now, the problem with this scenario would be that there would be certain amount of pressure for you to sell. At the end of the day, the studio is giving you a commission basis because they want you to sell. So I mentioned this earlier. If you're not that kind of person that is feeling comfortable about selling, then it's really going to put pressure on you. You're going to feel so overwhelmed at the fact that you have to reach a specific target every month. And maybe you don't want to be in that situation. So you need to be open to being available to sell to people and to be convincing enough to generate more income. So there is an amount of pressure on you to be able to do that. Now, the other thing is that there is a little bit more rigidity with this one, is you're not as flexible as you like, because you don't determine the amount of hours or when you get to work. You know, the studio will say to you, we need you for these times, for these hours, and this is what you're basically going to be working. So if you have got commitments, then it's going to be a little bit more inflexible for you, and that might actually clash with other commitments, especially if you do have a young family. Whereas if you are a freelance worker and you are a subcontractor on an hourly rate, then of course you're getting that independence of choosing how and when you work. But if you had to consider what kind of salary you'll be earning as an employee with a base salary and then earning commissions, if you were on a contract basis, and most of the time if you're an employee, they'll give you a bit of a lower salary because they know that they expect you to earn the commission. So if you're earning $30,000 a year on a base salary, and then they're expecting you to get, or the target would be to get $20,000 in commissions, then obviously you're going to get those $50,000 per annum. However, you also have huge health and wellness benefits. You're getting your sickness pay, you're getting your social security contributions all paid. So all that is encompassed within this particular formula. So again, you need to consider, is this a scenario where I want to be working in? Does it fit into my lifestyle? Do I feel that I'm more comfortable earning this? Or maybe this is something that I need to negotiate with my employer. So think about all this when you are having discussions with your employer or whoever you're working with. Now, in all this, you've got to consider how you're going to be determining your rates. As I've told you earlier, you don't want to be determining your rates by undercutting others or by just plucking a figure from thin air and then thinking, yes, okay, this is what I want. Do your calculations more thoroughly. You want to make sure you cover all your costs. You want to make sure that if you're traveling to other locations, you want to cover your time for going there. You want to cover your costs for going there. If it's fuel, if it's transport. What about childcare? Do you need to pay for childcare? Cover all these costs before you come up with your own figure on how much you should be earning. And that would be a starting point when you are negotiating with the place of work, or even when you're negotiating your rates if you're charging directly to your clients. Now, if you're an employee and your rates are set by the studio, what typically determines your rate is obviously your experience. But generally speaking, the cost of the employee is between 25 to 40% of what the studio makes. So if the hourly rate for the studio is $100, your rate would be approximately a third. So it's between 25% to 40%. Again, depending on your experience, depending on your knowledge. And also, it could also depend on the length of time that you've been working with them. Now, if you are on a self-employed basis and you are a solo proprietor, you are your business, then of course, as I mentioned, your rates are determined by yourself. So you have to look at your expenses, you have to look at your taxes, you need to look at your transport, you need to look at what other expenses are going to be incurred, social security contributions, what other expenses are going to be incurred for you to be able to run your business, but also what expenses do you have to survive? Bear this in mind, because you're not just going to look at how much is it going to cost me to be able to sell this hour of Pilates. No, what about your personal costs? Do you have a car loan? Do you have a house loan? Do you have a mortgage? What are your expenses? What are your taxes every year? Consider all this. And if you really want to delve deeper about this, get on a call with me, because I can really totally help you hone in into what your hourly rate should be, guys. I do have a link below, so you can click on the link below so you'll be able to discuss all this with me. It's a free call, free discovery call. There's nothing you're going to lose here. It's just going to help you get closer to your desired rate, guys. Now, if you wanted an example of how much running your own business would be, and talking in simple terms here, we're not looking at putting tons of money on marketing. We're not looking at making this a big fancy business. And you're working approximately 25 hours a week and you're charging $75 an hour. You're looking at earning approximately $90,000 a year. So guys, I hope that this has helped you try to identify how you should be paid. And if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. You can click on the link below, as I said. You can click on the comments. And if you are a studio owner and you don't know how much you should be paying for your staff, I would really highly recommend to you to reach out to me, and I'll be able to create more videos like this to help you in the community. If you like the video, hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video online, guys. Until my next video, goodbye for now.